When you take a step back and look at every NBA Finals MVP in league history, I honestly cannot think of a weaker or more undeserving winner than Andre Iguodala in 2015. Let me preface all this by saying this is not a shade at Andre Iguodala. I love Iggy. He was one of my favorite players growing up. I have major nostalgia running with him on the Nuggets in 2K13. He's a legend in his own right that deserves major props. All love to the guy. For anyone who's new to basketball or just doesn't remember, Iguodala was handed Finals MVP for supposedly shutting down LeBron James and making a bigger impact than anybody else. Let's actually look at LeBron's numbers in that final series. 35.8 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game. He led both teams in all three of those stats. 9 assists a game on a roster where his second leading scorer was Timofey Mozgov is absolutely insane. That's not someone who got shut down. That's someone who completely dominated and nearly dragged a hospital crew and bums to a Game 7 against a 67-win Warriors team. LeBron's performance in that series was so legendary that some voters actually voted to give him Finals MVP, even though the Cavs lost in 6. If that would have happened, it would have only been the second time in league history that the Finals MVP came from the losing team. That's how good James was. He dominated this series, and yet somehow Andre Iguodala won the award. Not for outplaying LeBron, not for locking him up, but for simply existing in front of him while he watched him drop 36, 13, and 9 a night. Well, if it wasn't defense, then surely Iggy must have been the leading scorer for Golden State, right? Well, wrong. That was Stephen Curry, the league MVP, who dropped 26 in Game 1, 27 in Game 3, 22 in Game 4, 37 in Game 5, and 25 to close it out in Game 6. Sure, he had a bad shooting night in Game 2, just 19 points on 21% from the field, but every other game, he was clearly the engine of the Warriors' offense. Curry averaged 26 points per game, while Iggy averaged 16.3, and yet somehow the narrative became that Curry disappeared. Let's stop the cap. Curry didn't vanish. He ran the show. On top of scoring, he pulled defenders away, spaced the floor, and created wide open shots for everyone, including Iguodala. There's no way Iggy gets 16 a game without Steph pulling double teams 30 feet from the basket. Steph was getting trapped, and Iggy was left wide open. It was by design. So let's ask again. It wasn't defense. LeBron cooked regardless. It wasn't scoring. Curry led the team and closed out games. And it wasn't efficiency. Iggy shot 52% from the free throw line that series. So what exactly made Iguodala so attractive for MVP? The argument is always, well, when Steve Kerr inserted him into the starting lineups in Game 4, the Warriors took off. Yeah, that's true, but we're not handing out Finals MVPs for lineup adjustments. This isn't a thank you for starting award. It's the Finals MVP. Basketball is not a vibes-based sport. You don't give out trophies because the energy shifted. You give them to the player who was consistently the best on the floor, and that was Stephen Curry. Let's put this into perspective by comparing Iguodala to other non-superstar Finals MVPs. Kawhi Leonard in 2014. He didn't lead the Spurs in scoring, but was 0.2 points behind and made LeBron's life extremely difficult on both ends. He impacted that series every single possession. Cedric Maxwell in 1981 stepped up when Larry Bird struggled, was the Celtics' most consistent option, and swung multiple games. Chauncey Billups in 2004 controlled the tempo, dictated the entire series, and dismantled a Lakers super team without flashy stats. In all of those cases, there was a clear reason for those players to win. With Iggy, the claim is that he made LeBron work harder while getting 36 dropped on him nightly. That's not MVP worthy. That's just being there. And here's the biggest issue. This robbed Stephen Curry of the award he absolutely earned. This fueled a false narrative for years that Steph couldn't get it done without major help in the finals. This followed him until 2022 when he finally got a Finals MVP. This slander was always stupid, like he wasn't the reason that Golden State was even there to begin with. So yeah, Iggy played his role, he made big plays, he deserves his flowers, but let's call it what it is. Andre Iguodala is the least deserving Finals MVP in NBA history. That's not hate, that's just the truth. Stephen Curry got robbed, and 10 years later, it's never been more obvious.
I want Iguodala.